All right, we are getting real deep into this tournament, at least into round two, round of 32, round two, whatever you want to call it. We're talking Saturday picks.
Excuse me, that is thirsty 32.
The thirsty 32. I like the thick 32 myself, like with two C's.
You got to make it three C's.
The three C's. I love this. We should take over branding for March Madness, 100%. Yeah, we got some picks to get into. You know, I'm not gonna give the round one summary because we're recording this literally at the beginning of the second day of round one, and who knows how it's all gonna end up. So let's just dive in to round two. I'm gonna kick us off with a pick I like. I'm gonna fade that first round 12-5 upset, and I'm gonna go ahead and take Purdue over McNeese. And I'm going to take them on the spread, man. I'm going to take the -5.5. I think Purdue looked really good. Mike was saying this in our text thread yesterday. Purdue looks surprisingly good. I think I was shocked to watch. I hadn't really watched a lot of Clemson this year. I just kind of had seen the stats and really thought that they would win that game easily. And obviously I was wrong. I don't know about y'all, but McNeese to me looks like a legit athletic, like Division I basketball team, like power, like Division I basketball team. Like they were like really athletic. They just dominated Clemson. Like it was, and if you would have swapped their jerseys, I would have thought the players on Clemson would have been the McNeese players. Like they were small, they were slow, like they couldn't shoot. So I'm only saying all of this I believe Clemson got off to a really bad slow start, but they figured something out in the second half. That's going to show up on tape. They almost won, which is insane for being down as much as they were and as bad as they played. So give me Purdue to take the learnings from that second half and just go ahead and pick up where Clemson left off, which is really being able to match their athleticism more and all of that. But this is a lot of explanation for a McNeese game. Y'all have any thoughts on that? But anyone else have anything on Purdue McNeese?
I have an overall kind of theme for the show. One is that it's football season in March, and that'll make sense later. But two is this is kind of the year. The Big Ten is kind of top heavy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes this part of the tournament, you start to see a lot of falling off. I'm nervous about this Purdue game, so it's not on my sheet. I don't trust McNeese State either. I do think it's interesting, though, like they have put a lot of money into their basketball program. A lot. Yeah. Comparatively to other teams in their region. But Purdue, of course, is Purdue. They should out physical them, which is a technical term. So, like, I would lean with you, but I don't have a play on this one.
My only play is I'm taking the first half under 67.5.
Bring on the first half unders.
I mean, dude, McNeese, I didn't get to watch the game. It was not available on my flight, but you guys were texting me saying how terrible Clemson looked.
Mm-hmm.
Despite that, I was shocked to see that McNeese ranked number 6 in first half points allowed all season.
Wow.
So they're no complete slouch here. Both of these teams have a very slow pace of play. McNeese is 277th, while Purdue's at 303rd. Yet this total is only 1 point lower than the St. John's Arkansas game, which is two of the highest scoring, highest pace teams. So that seemed like quite a bit of a mismatch there. So I'm going to take the under 67.5 in the first half.
Oh man, I like that too. Should be an entertaining game. Maybe McNeese is the tournament darling. We'll see. Stefan, why don't you hit us with your favorite pick?
Oh, my favorite pick?
Yeah, start with your favorite one.
Yeah. I told y'all Michigan was going to take care of San Diego when they sure did. But what was I texting you guys throughout that whole game?
Fuck Michigan.
Michigan. So you know what I have to say today? Fuck Michigan. We're going Texas A&M, baby.
Yes.
Texas A&M on the money line. So a mistake I often make is getting a first round bet correct, kind of against the market, and then riding that team for way too long and them burning me and it sucking. That's not going to happen with me this year with Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to bail while the bailing's good. Michigan, they are super inconsistent. I don't trust their backcourt all that much. I know they've been playing well enough these 4 games, but even yesterday, it was a real scare at the end there for Michigan.
Yep.
Texas A&M is super athletic. I think they'll be able to get up and down. I like Texas A&M on the money line. I'm going to parlay that with another pick here in a little bit. But so I'm just taking them to win. I think their line right now is -2.5 or something like that. I'm just going to take the win.
I'll just keep rolling with that. I for the same reason love Texas A&M to take care of Michigan. Michigan kind of the opposite of what I was saying with Clemson and McNeese, which is like they really faded. And so I'm going to go ahead and fade Michigan too. I'm just going to take Texas A&M on the money line though. No other comments except that you can get it at -142. I know they're 2.5 point favorites, and I don't mind paying the juice for the, maybe they will have to win on a buzzer beater for some reason, but I'm just going to go ahead and take them on the money line at a little juicy -142.
You say that now. Once you hear what I'm parlaying them with, you're going to do that.
I'm going to have to do it. I have not put my Saturday bets in yet. All right, Mike, why don't you hit us with the next one? Unless you have a play on that game, why don't you hit us with the next one?
No, I don't have a play on that game. My last play for Saturday, a little parlay, taking Houston on the money line versus Gonzaga. And then I'm teasing Creighton up to +16.5 points against Auburn at -120. Houston, Gonzaga made Georgia look really, really bad. Stafe was absolutely correct on that game. However, it seems like a bit of an outlier the way that they played. Gonzaga relied heavily on the 3-point game. They average throughout the season, they averaged 7 threes a game. Yesterday they had 12. And then at one point in the first half, Georgia they were 1 of 11 on field goals with 7 turnovers. That's just really bad basketball. So, I think my take of Gonzaga is not who we're used to them being, is still going to remain accurate. Plus Houston just looked really, really good. So I like Houston to ball out again. And then Creighton looked really freaking good against Louisville yesterday, putting up 89 points. Auburn, they may win, they may cover here, but 16.5 points to a team that just looked as good as Creighton did yesterday feels like a lot of points. So this feels really, really safe to me, which is probably means it's not at all safe, but I like it, and we'll get it at -120.
Yeah, I'll keep us rolling with Creighton here in a second. I will just say I was surprised. It just came under 140. The Houston Gonzaga line was at total is at 140. That's the highest Houston total I've seen. I've been watching, been paying very specific attention for the last few months, and the Houston total is always in the 120s. You might get like a 131 because they are just an elite defensive team. But I think Gonzaga's offense has kind of just been on fire lately, and that's why this is up there. But I don't know. I'm not making a pick, but maybe there's some value there because this is honestly the highest Houston, and Houston always is hitting the under of those 128s, 127s, right? So maybe there's some value there if anyone wants to check out the total. That's the highest Houston total I've seen in quite a while. So, all right, I'm going to keep rolling with Creighton. Creighton +9.5 against Auburn. Auburn has been in some real close games. They've also lost games to some good teams. I was impressed with Creighton against Louisville in their first round. This just, honestly, I'm not going to give you a ton of data. It just feels like too big of a number for me. I think Auburn as the overall 1 seed is just getting a lot of love with this number, and it's probably too much love. I don't think Creighton's going to win this game. I'm almost going to try to thread the needle and put Auburn in a different money line parlay, but I do think Creighton can cover 9.5. So I'm gonna ride with that. I'm gonna ride with that as well.
I'm also on Creighton. Here's
Nice.
my football theme. You'll notice a lot of my numbers are football numbers. We're gonna go 14 and a hook. We're gonna do 2 touchdowns and a hook. For Creighton, we're gonna go Creighton +14.5. Mike, what was the number you gave out earlier? What are you taking them out?
+16.5.
They've only in like November in the regular season is the only time they didn't hit that number all year. So like they don't get blown out. I like Creighton for all the same reasons that you guys said. So they're part of a parlay for me, an underdog football parlay, Creighton plus 14.5. And I'll just give you the other side of it real quick because I'm guessing y'all might have something on this one too. I'm going to take Drake plus 14.5 as well. So I'm going to take two basketball schools with football lines. We're going Creighton plus 14.5, Drake plus 14.5. Drake looked really, really good. They're another team that's been super consistent all year. They were part of a little 4-leg parlay that I got at like plus 850 yesterday. That was nice. Thank you, Eric, for your love of Drake. Really pushed me over the edge. So we're going to ride with them again. 14.5. I just feel like both these teams are going to be able to stick within that number. You get that at like minus 132. So it's not even too pricey. So I like that an awful lot.
Man, I like that. I might even take your Creighton, but do Drake like 10.5 because I'm taking Drake on this like against the spread plus 7.5 against Texas Tech. Man, this total's low at like 127. They're 7.5 point dogs. Drake looked great. I think they're the most legit non kind of our conference. I know we're not talking football team here in this tournament. This team just held an SEC team in Missouri to 57 points. They're now coming to play a really good Big 12 team, but Drake holds teams to averages, holding teams to 57 or less. Averages, that means they like consistently hold them to less than 57. I think Drake very likely keeps Texas Tech in the 60s. And in that case, their offense is definitely good enough to hang in for a 7.5 point ball game. Like this number's way too big, man. I actually hope Drake wins this outright. It's not even a sprinkle of mine because I don't think they will, but like if they do, I just feel like I can keep getting value on them into the Sweet 16 if it happens again. So I'm really hoping Drake actually pulls this off because I think Drake's going to be like, might turn into this tournament giving us some of the best value of any, like kind of an underrated team giving you really good value throughout the time they actually made it, you know? So that's my Drake take. What am I missing? Anything else?
No. Does anybody have the total for that game by chance? You're kind of making me want to look at the under.
127.5. It is low.
I'll pass.
It's low for a reason though, you know, like, yeah. I still have a couple of plays. I added another play, and I still have the other part of my Michigan parlay is I'm going to take St. John's on the money line versus Arkansas. Arkansas has been, I picked against them 2 days ago, so whatever. But all the logic applies. Like they're very inconsistent. I just don't see them getting up twice in a row. St. John's has been so good. They had a little bit of a fight in them early in that game. Like, I mean, they had to rally the troops and get going, and they did, and they took care of business, and it never was in doubt. It was never close. St. John's is just much better than Arkansas, so I think this is St. John's parlayed with Texas A&M. I just like that a lot, and that's at plus 122. So pretty excited about that. Did either of you guys have anything on St. John's?
No, man. No, I just love St. John's in this tournament. I just haven't I love them to win too. I just didn't know where to put them. So I'm glad you found
with Texas A&M. Like I said, you like that minus 142. That plus 122 is even better.
I'll be doing that too. I love it.
Okay, my last one. We're gonna go to a game where I think the wrong team is favored, and we're gonna take BYU. We're gonna tease it to another football line. 7 and a hook. We're gonna go to 7.5. So BYU plus 7.5 versus Wisconsin. Again, my theme of fading the Big Ten this time in the tournament comes around, and so we're gonna do just that. So we're gonna take BYU, who looked really, really good against a good VCU team, and we're gonna parlay that with Tennessee on the money line, who plays UCLA. Tennessee to me is just one of the best teams there is. UCLA is okay, so not great. I mean, Ziegler is fantastic. So really love watching Tennessee play. So Tennessee plus BYU plus 7.5, you get that at minus 103. So
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna throw
winners.
For the same reason, UCLA is a pretty underwhelming team. I totally forgot to put one pick in. If y'all wouldn't mind throwing this in for me while I'm yapping away. Tennessee minus 4.5. I'll take that against UCLA. I'm going to take the team favorite. I just think that UCLA looked great, man. Like, I just think they had a favorable matchup. You know, they played Utah State. I talked about how much I'm a Mountain West hater this year and why they shouldn't have these teams, and they proved me right. Utah State had no business being in this tournament, and UCLA got a good matchup. I think now they have to go play one of the best, like maybe a Final Four team in Tennessee, and I'm gonna take Tennessee -4.5. So
perfect. I like it.
Cool. All right. Are we sure we're not missing? No one wants any last minute picks. You're not like getting inspired. You want to just throw a bunch of stuff out there. All right. We don't.
I'm taking your football quality versus quantity approach over here.
We've swapped roles. Let's see how it works out for us here. Okay. This is the part of the show where we run things down for you. Before we do that, don't forget to follow us on YouTube, like, subscribe, all of that stuff, and anywhere you get your podcasts. You're going to want to follow us out there. We appreciate you and leaving any comments. We love chatting with all of y'all. So make sure to go do that. Let's go ahead and run it down. I'm going to get us started. I got Purdue -5.5 versus McNeese. I'm also going to take Creighton +9.5 versus Auburn. I will take Texas A&M on the money line, which is a little juicy at -142 to beat Michigan. Drake +7.5 versus Texas Tech, and Tennessee -4.5 versus UCLA.
I'm going to take a parlay of Houston on the money line with Creighton at +16.5 at -120. And then give me the first half under in the Purdue versus McNeese game at under 67.5.
All right. I'm going to do Creighton and Drake both at +14.5. That comes in at -132. I am going to take St. John's and Texas A&M parlayed on the money line. That comes in at +122. And then I'm going to take Tennessee on the money line parlayed with BYU +7.5. And that comes in at -104.
Love it. Let's go make some money on Saturday. We'll be back at you with picks for Sunday.